G'day Off Trackers, welcome back to... Oh, this isn't Off Track HQ, what's this, Ash?
Off track on the road.
So there'll be a video coming on this. This is our new van that we've got, and we did an overnighter in it at home, and now we're sort of away down your family's house. So taking off track on the road. But that doesn't mean the reviews are going to stop. So let's go into it. This week I've got a pretty exciting one for you. You would have seen that I did the S2000pro by AllPowers. So now we're basically going to do a comparison between old and new. And I have to say, guys, I think I'm eating a bit of humble pie. Like, how many times have we used this? Even with the van, we don't have the inverter hooked up yet. This will be going in the van. And this thing's actually pretty bloody convenient. You just get it out in the car. I just had it sitting on the back seat and charged my laptop while I was doing some video editing. It actually is pretty remarkable how useful these things are. But what we'll do, we'll touch on in this video the differences between the two, where the advantages are and where the disadvantages are, and then we'll go through the stats of each, because you guys know that I like the stats, and give you all the specifications of each as well. So first off, let's get into it. Disclaimer time. So there's fair few of you that are new. I do this in every video where I like to be honest and transparent. It's something I'm hoping catches on with all the other YouTubers so that they have a bit more validity behind what they say, as you guys have the right to know if they're trying to sell you a product to make commission or if they're giving an honest review. So it's something I'm hoping catches on. We'll see if it does, but if not, I'm still going to remain to do it. So as always, I don't accept any money. I don't do any commissions, nothing like that. All the Hardkorr gear I bought myself. The AllPowers, I was sent this because they challenged me. They saw me really giving a hard time to the portable power stations, and they said, man, we're going to send you one. Give it a go for a couple of weeks and let us know your thoughts. So again, no money changing hand, just simply there for me to test it and use it and give you guys feedbacks. Jeez, I'm stuffing this up a bit this morning, Ash. So that's the disclaimer all done. Let's get into the actual nitty gritty and what the difference is. So the big ones for Aussies is Anderson plugs. There's none that I've seen on the market, and I've done a lot of research, and I don't believe there is any of the all-in-one power stations that have Anderson plugs. So most of your fridges, besides Ingle, run on Anderson plugs. If it's running on a cigarette socket, you should cut that off because it'll pull out anyway, and then your fridge will go warm. And none of these have Anderson plugs. Versus if we move over to your traditional power box, you get 4 Anderson plugs and then your big 175 amp for doing an inverter. So that's a big plus. The other thing to note with your traditional power boxes, because they're more designed for camping, you get 2 cigarette sockets, then your USB, and obviously you can put in and change that to a USB. Versus with your portable power stations, they seem to be more focused on 240, and you only get your 1 cigarette socket, which when I take this away next week camping, I'll have it to put an adapter on that to turn it into maybe 3. Then I'll also have to put an Anderson converter on there. So it'll be a lot coming out of 1 socket. That's the big sort of downsides that I've seen with it. They're both, so the battery that's in there is Bluetooth, so that gives you Bluetooth data. This is Bluetooth itself. Really where this wins, so that's where I would say the battery box wins. With all the outlets, hands down, it's the winner. This one, look at the size difference. You have to cut all of this around, or this. It is just astronomically amazing how small they've been able to make this and to fit all of that in it. So hands down, it wins on size. Yeah, that's a 3000 watt inverter. This only has 2500, so okay, that would cut down a little bit. And no DCDC charger in this. This is where it gets interesting again. If you're going for a week-long trip, this won't work. Until you can get the DCDC working on it, which I had one of the comments on the last one said, can you override with the solar input and put it into a DCDC charger? It doesn't work. The DCDC charger doesn't recognize that it's a battery. You can plug it straight into your starter battery. It'll only come through, I think it was about 80 watts was coming out of it, which is like stuff all like 15 amps, something around there, I think it was. So it is safe to charge your battery that because it's at low frequency the whole time. But again, 15 amps versus 40 amps coming in, big difference. It'll take forever to charge it on your car still. So I would say these remain as a weekender. I even think like a long weekend, you're going to be pushing it. You may be able to sort of make it back up with solar if you have a fair few solar blankets and put them all together. As long as you got sun, you could probably run this for a couple of days, fair few days, but it doesn't beat having a DC-DC charger if you're driving around. That's the only limitation with it that I've been able to see. And if they could get those Anderson plugs and a DC-DC charger working in it, man, it'll be a game changer. At the moment, I still feel it's not quite there, but I feel that it definitely has its place in the market. And if you're just doing weekends, go this. Go the S2000. As long as you're getting that 2500 and getting a fairly big battery. That's the other thing I'll touch on. Well, I guess we'll see that in the stats. It'll give you the battery sizes, but they're both pretty much the same. Yeah, if you're planning longer trips, then the older setup is still the way to go. You'll be able to get this to run you for as long as you want, weeks on end, no problem. The other one I want to touch on is your house charging. So if you did do it where you go away and then come home and charge it off the house, you're only getting 22 amps off this, which is really, really slow, versus this one is phenomenal. It's about an hour to charge it from flat to full. So on house charging, it wins as well. That'll do for that. Let's go into all the specifications. I'll get the laptop set up and we'll do it. Specs. So this will just be some key things that I want to give you guys.
Where's your sunnies going, Dylan?
I was getting a bit hammered in the comments. So people were saying I looked dishonest with the glasses. So comment below, let me know if the glasses should stay gone or if they're right to wear. I wear them because if you don't look straight into the lens, you look a bit cuckoo-eyed. And because the cameras all have a screen on it, you tend to look at the screen rather than the lens. But yeah, I have copped a fair few comments over the last couple of weeks saying that I look dishonest with the glasses and to lose them. So trying it in this one.
Your cuckoo-eyedness happens anyway.
That's not very nice.
Is that an excuse?
Okay, so we're looking at the 135 amp hour Hardkorr versus the AllPowers S2000pro. So battery size, Hardkorr's 135 amp hours, 1,728 watts. The AllPowers is 125 amp hours, 1,600 watts. So the Hardkorr is slightly bigger, but not by much. It's actually a really good comparison. Bluetooth, both have Bluetooth. The apps are really good. I would say the Hardkorr app is just slightly better. It gives you a little bit more information, but in saying that, the AllPowers gives you everything you need to know. Into price, this is where it gets interesting. So the battery itself is only $1,099 from BCF versus this all-in-one power station is $1,299 with a 10% discount code I can give you as well on that. Remember, I don't get anything for it, but if you guys want to save 10%, OTK10 will give you 10% off. I'll have it in the description. So yeah, that's basically $1,299, $1,300 for the inverter, the AC charger, and the battery. But now let's add everything onto this. I'm going to ignore the DC-DC charger because this doesn't have one. So the inverter, you're looking at $899. The AC charger, you're looking at $199.95. So your grand total of this to compare to this is $2,197.95. That's huge. That is a big, big difference where now I think it's all leaning back this way. For the money, yeah, you're better off getting this. Like, only if you need to run it multiple times would you look at, or run it for a long period, would you go down that route. Okay, the next one I'm going to give you is your maximum discharge, which is really interesting. So you want to know how much you can pull out of it. So the Hardkorr will do 1,728 watts, which is 135 amps, versus the S2000pro will do 200 amps, 2,400 watts. So again, it smokes it. Your max charging, so the Hardkorr will do 67 amps or 857 watts. That's at AC or DC. Remember, to get that much AC in, you've got to find something that will actually do that fast. Versus the AllPowers will do at AC 112 amps and 1350 watts. DC is where you get limited, 7 amps, 89 watts. So the DC, unfortunately, yeah, just isn't there yet on these. Your charging temperature, you can charge the Hardkorr from 0 degrees to plus 55. Discharge is minus 20 to plus 60. This one, the charging and discharging is the same, minus 20 to plus 40. So it can do colder climates, not so good in the heat. So Queensland summer, Northern Territory summer, there may be a couple of days that you may not be able to charge it or even use it. Like, yeah, plus 40, you'd want to have it in a pretty cold area. So if you get a 40-degree day, you won't be able to use this. Versus, you can still use this up to 60 degrees, so you're covered anywhere in Australia. That's an interesting one for you guys to weigh up. The cycle life. This is where it gets really interesting with these power stations, and I reckon I know why. So you're looking at 6,000 cycles for the Hardkorr, 2,500 for the power stations. I suspect because of all of this stuff is jammed in here quite close, and all of it gets hot. All of these components get really hot when they're being used. So I reckon it's the same as chucking a battery in an engine bay. And after 2,500 cycles, your capacity probably really starts to taper off. Hence why you just don't get longevity out of any of these all-in-ones. They're just running too hot. And that's why I think you'd see that it can only do 40 degrees, because if it's 40 degrees outside, inside this box is probably quite phenomenal. Look at this little thing. Just a little bit of A to D.
What are you talking about?
There's a little like buzzing bug. Hopefully it shows up on the video.
Wow, okay.
And then the next one is the warranty, both the same, 5 years. So that's all the figures done for you guys. As you can see, there is some really interesting stuff there where each one literally has an upside and each one has a downside. Neither one is really shining through. And in my honest opinion, I think it's because there's no Australian camping companies that have brought one of these out yet. Because if Hardkorr brought one out, I can guarantee you they'd put Anderson plugs on it, and I can guarantee you they'd put a DCDC charger on it. So I can't wait for an Australian company to bring one of these out. In the meantime, we're just going to have to stick with these overseas companies that are bringing them in. And at the moment, I have to say, I'm really shifting tides onto this sort of setup. And the price now is making them so much more attractable. So up to you guys. Comment below. Let me know which one you think is better. And until next time, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, keep the channel growing. I'm getting a whole bunch of new subscribers. I've had a whole bunch now that have stuck with me for, how long have we been going, Ash? Three, 4 years?
Too long.
So really, really honestly, guys, I want to take this time to say a big thank you to everybody, the old, the new. You're all been supporting the channel heaps, and it really means a lot to Ash and I that you guys are getting behind me and backing me to do this. So till next time, see ya.